this is a brand new VST pump. Obviously you can see, nice and new. So why the heck do I have another drive over here that I've got the power going to? And the reason is, after we put this new VST pump in, replacing a Whisper Flow, which is a nice easy swap. You know, you just undo these unions and hook up the power. But my employee hooked this up to the automation here, and we did everything that you're supposed to do as far as reducing the speed to 0 and the prime on the first speed, and pump address 1 and matching and all that, blah blah blah, all that good stuff. Yeah, we did it all right. He did it, I did it a million times. It never worked, so called Pentair. And I also, after that, I went over here to the board and figured, well, maybe the board needs to be replaced. And I happened to have a new board, so I replaced the board on it. Was continuing to have the same problem. So then what I did was I swapped back out that old board, put it back in here because those are expensive, and called Pentair. And they said that it's got to be the drive. So Pentair rep dropped me off a new drive here, and I just got done hooking it up, actually twice, because I switched the power over to here and thought I got everything going. However, I didn't address the pump in the panel here for that one. I did on that one, but not on this new drive for some reason. And I just assumed there's something else weird going on, got frustrated, removed the wires and reinstalled them back over to that one while I was on the phone with Pentair. And then after I got that one completely hooked back up, then I realized that I forgot to address the pump. So I had to pull those wires back off of that pump and put it onto this pump. And so I could test it out, and sure enough, it did work. So we're back into automation. So, but now the fun stuff starts, because what was going to be a nice easy swap by changing out the pump there, which only requires loosening up the unions. And even though there's a little shade today, which I appreciate because it's over 100 degrees out here in Utah, so with everything that's been going on with this job, I appreciate at least that. But anyways, let me show you what we got to do now. I'll flip the camera over. Now what we got to do is remove all those bolts, separate the motor, and then remove the seal plate there. Put the seal plate and the impeller and the diffuser that's on this pump motor, and put it over here on this drive. And then we got to reinstall that drive back to this pump. So that's the fun stuff that I'm about to get started on now. Kidding, I'm not gonna do that. You can do that, but here's what I'm gonna do. Let me show you here. So this is what it looks like once you remove the drive. That's the drive that was on this pump. And you know, inside there's all these parts for the pump that would have made that a big headache. So now all I had to do was just remove that drive. Now I just got to take this drive off and put it over on top of this pump here. So all that really involves is, well, you're gonna have to remove the cap here because there's 2 screws in there, and then there's also these 2 screws, if I can get to it here, somewhere here. Yeah, screws here on each side. You just unscrew those and then tuck that wire through, and then you can swap it over. Okay, there's the old motor. There's the, or actually that's a new motor. There's the another new drive that didn't work to auto, and then so I swapped that one off, put that one on there. It's working in auto now, so we're good to go. So basically, when you're having these communication problems, there's definitely a protocol you got to follow to hook up the automation on these. However, as you can see, you could put in a brand new pump and the drive is bad. So, and that's a fun time, because now I spent like probably about 4 or 5 times at least on this job, and actually I shouldn't have had to do anything on this job, but here I am, and I spent all that time, and I don't think I'm really going to be able to charge the customer for all that. But so, you know, in business, you win some and lose some. Handle it. All right, one last little tip for you, and I'm going to throw in that little flow chart that'll tell you how to automate your VST pump. The other thing you're going to want to do whenever you're setting up a new pump, you're going to want to make sure you come into the panel here and set up all the schedules and speeds and everything. And so here, let me take you on over and show you how I did it. So most importantly, I wanted to point out, you want to set up a heater speed for anytime there's a call for the heater. That way we make sure that it ramps up to over 2,500 RPM. As you can see, I put it to 3,120. So anyways, to get into here, I'm gonna mode out of everything, back to auto here. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna hit menu, you're gonna go down to settings, and then to IntelliFlow, and we've addressed pump 1 for this pump. And so yeah, when you go down to the status now, it says normal. It used to say no connection. And so here we are now with speeds. This is how you program your speeds, and on 1 I put the pool circuit at 1940. It's just good enough to make sure that that salt cell will be working. There's not a cleaner going to be hooked up on there, but here's a spa speed, 3110. I like to have the pump moving good for the spa. The cleaner, 2910. I always find that a good speed for the cleaner. And maybe and then for the heater, like I said, 3120. There's many other things that you could program in there as well, but at any rate, here we are, and everything is working right. It has adjusted to the speed that I set on it. See, it's in auto, and that's how you do it. Hey, but at least I found a use for this pump. So on this system, they were just kind of looking for a deal for a new pump. And they happened to have a whisper flow that was seized up. It was just a single speed, so it was never going to use the communication anyway. It works out perfect for them because the pump works great. It's just that it is not going to communicate with the panel. So win-win. Everybody's happy there in the end. I'm back here at this job now because another one of my clients had a perfectly good whisper flow pump that they wanted to upgrade to a variable speed pump. So when I replaced it, I took that pump and I'm bringing it back here to this. I swapped in a used variable speed pump, which doesn't work too well for this system because really they just want a simple on and off one speed pump. The board system they have is the Jandy Aqua Lynx, and previously they had a whisper flow pump on there. They just use the pump to go on and off, so they're going to keep that board. I got to replace that board today, and so I told them I'd go ahead and swap them out with this single speed pump, and then I'll take my variable speed pump back. So working out even better for all of us than it was, so I like that. Yeah, we're going to wrap this up. We're going to give it a nice happy ending here. Check this out. To finish it all up, this is where I got another new client here, and they had a single speed pump here that had burnt out, just like this one, burnt out. So what I did was I took that drive that would not communicate with the panel, and I put it and I put that and its motor right here on this pump. So that way I am now still using that pump because he had a single speed on there anyways. So he wasn't worried about it communicating with the panel. But that's why, yeah, basically you just want to worry about getting the job done, doing it right. Hold on to your parts, whatever you got, because at some point in the future, more than likely, you're going to use it. Just like that, get your money back. Because, you know, I spent a lot of time on that. So you gotta recover your losses somehow. All right, that's it.